Uh, Thank you. John always underscores how pompous and pretentious I can be. And I am. Anybody at MediaPost will tell you this. And so because of that, Sandy, thank you for that yes group mention, because obviously I'm the prog rock guy at the company. And also for mentioning consumerization, because that's really the buzzword that seems to be the term of art right now. It's a term that only marketers could love. And like all manipulations of language that marketers do, it says the same thing we've already been saying with previously tortured terms that we've been using in recent years, like retailization, like patient first, like direct to consumer. But that effect towards a more consumer-facing approach to healthcare marketing is really not just a vibe. It's reflected in the actual numbers. We can see it in the top line of where the money's going, just in terms of media spend. So for instance, SMI in early 2023 noted that pharma ad spending finally exceeded tech as the second most important ad spend now, the biggest ad spend second only to CPG. And for instance, some of the channels where a lot of traditional consumer money is gushing is also coming from pharma. OTT has become one of the fastest growing targets for pharma. Spending is up 59% year over year, just in streaming long-form media. And one of the classic media for general overall brand building out of home is where you're seeing the fastest growth in the pharma category. And of course, patient behaviors obviously are moving. We all know this. The consumerized marketing approach is really following consumer behaviors. But here are just a couple of key statistics that really might send a chill up everybody's spine. 56% of patients research online prior to visiting a doctor. Not only that, but here's a scary one. 32% of patients think researching online is a good way to confirm a diagnosis. The internet is now the second opinion. Now, we can wring our hands all day about how patient journeys have transformed, about how pharma, you're all CPGs now, about how hospitals market like Best Buy, and of course, how underlying all this, how institutional authority has been shaken in healthcare, as in all other institutions, and that trust is really your main product right now before all else. All of these are huge issues. But they're probably not the issues that we're going to be talking about over the next few days. They are the larger existential issues that sort of put a frame around everything that we talk about. But really what we talk about here is how to execute effectively in this new environment, this presumed new environment. One of the things I've learned over the years of programming literally hundreds of these summits is this intimate format that we have used for a number of years is really good at getting past simply showing off what your marketing departments are doing, what the bright, shiny objects are, and really getting deeper into the hows. Beyond talking in platitudes about AI or how digital is transforming everything, marketers come here to dig under the hood a little bit and show us not just the what, but the how. This show is really all about execution, and I think you see, as you'll see the presentations and the discussions over the next few days, that most of this is really geared towards the how. So how did we get people to build the data infrastructure that actually serves omnichannel? How did we get people to actually adopt the toys that we're putting out there for them to use? How do you implement a marketing excellence program that actually moves the needle across all of these siloed departments? How do you systematize strategies for product launches that actually are repeatable and that can actually be communicated internally? How do field offices work better with central offices to crack the code on tough HCPs that you're trying to penetrate? How do you actually use AI, not just talk the talk about AI, but how do you actually use it to better understand patient conversations and the ways in which they want to talk about their maladies? How do different parts of massive legacy organizations work across silos? Where did you move budgets to pay for that latest bright, shiny thing? How did you sell this internally? How did you get that past comms and legal? Those are the sorts of questions that I hear again and again at these events. They are the kinds of concerns that you'll be talking about, not only on stage, but especially in the roundtables and out when you either play golf or go out on the water. Most of you represent venerable legacy institutions. They were never built for patient first, let alone for digital. And you're all going through the growing pains in some way or another of how to execute on all these wonderful new platitudes about consumerization and retailization. And that's what this show is really all about, digging into the hows. And so the emphasis of the content that my programmers, Barbie Romero and Aaron Everhart and I have done is to put a heavy emphasis on execution, the hows. For those of you who are new to the summit, just a few notes on summit rules. Everything on stage is on the record. We're a media company. We report on all this stuff that's on stage. But then at noon, everybody comes off stage and we go off the record and we change the format into a series of open roundtable discussions. I can't emphasize enough how much the roundtables are key to what we do here at this event. For the next 45 minutes or an hour, you're really going to be able to take the content on stage and activate it into real conversations. Don't go out and take that meeting. Don't go out and run off to your room to catch up on email. The roundtables really are the essence of what we do. They're the heart of our summits. They're going to drive all those discussions that you have in the afternoons and in the evenings. So really, do them and spend some time on them. They really are that valuable. But talking about the hows, that's how I want to kick us off today with Dustin Humphries from Rite Aid. When Dustin and I first started talking about his keynote, he was going to talk about